Alright, let's get started. Let's make our way... Let's make our way below. Assuming everyone's tightened their straps and checked their gear, then I say we head on in. Given the terrain ahead, though, it might be wise to leave some distance between us. We don't want to be stumbling over each other if it comes to a fight. Take it slow and don't forget to check your surroundings from time to time. We can meet up again at the other end of the tunnel. That's as a person. Well, you know what? Let's get Cobalt Elf here. everyone seems to have made it through, without incident. Nothing of consequence, at least. And as promised, the tunnel has delivered us onto the medial circuit. As I recall, this tier is where they keep a wide variety of samples for agricultural production. If Ernville's assumption holds true that specimens are being collected in preparation for a great migration, then we should see evidence of such plans in the area's research projects. Let's follow the path to the nearest farming facility and see what we see. I am not fighting two of these at once. I'm sure as hell not fighting the big one that's 90. A stray egg, a stray garlic, and a stray corn. What in the world am I fighting ingredients? Okay. Tomato? Yep, tomato. Aha! Now I know where we are. This is Barrel Ergonomics. Mariel. Labyrinthos is host to a wide variety of vegetation, which allows us to conduct studies on cultivation methods utilized in foreign lands. And it is this facility which coordinates and oversees those efforts. The fruits of their research go to feed their Labyrinthos colleagues, or so I hear. More notable successes might make it to the R Agora. Foods so exotic you'd be hard pressed to guess their origin, let alone how they might taste. Indeed, mystery vegetables without a name, only a list of nutritional benefits scribbled on a card. I see no gleaners hereabout, yet these workers seem to share that same sense of urgency. 'Tis possible they know something of the form's plans and their underlying motivation. Worth a look into, wouldn't you say? Oh, I just pieced something together. See what you can coax from the workers. The rest of us will do the same or cast about for useful clues. I just realized something. The guy who told us no about the elevator. So I'm like, who is he? And then he said hum at the end of it. He knows the twins. Or at least he knows of the twins, I should say. Alright, who are we chatting up now? Yeah, I remember getting lost in this area. I was like, I don't know where I'm going. Hello there. We weren't expecting visitors, not with the use, not with use of the lift being restricted. How did you make it down here anyway? And we walked. Mine chef, you say? Well, you're a much hardier soul than I. Under normal circumstances, I'd reward such tenacity with a guided tour of the fields, but I'm afraid the form has us filling order lists a mile long. Massive yet detailed requests, literally wagon loads of crop samples, and hardly any time to put them together. When I first heard of this grand reorganization, I assumed we would be shuffling around old stock and make room for new. Then came the orders for ridiculous quantities of seeds we've already thoroughly researched. Passing strange, eh? I pressed for an explanation. I was met with vague assurances that all would be revealed in due course. Not the most satisfying answer. What crops are we raising? Well, as you'll see, this one's a variety of grape. Only needs a good source of sunlight to grow, and the conditions here are nothing short of perfect. Hardly surprising, given that it's native to a particular locale in the very place upon which Labyrinthos was modeled, a region south of Ilsabard. It boasts remarkable habitat It boasts remarkable habitat diversity, allowing for myriad flora and fauna to thrive. Chilling peaks in the north give way to swaths of temperate plains, which in turn translate to hot, humid coastline. Such bountiful territory is ever contested, as you might expect. Used to be called Corvos before the Imperials renamed it Locus Ammonius. The form saw it not as a prize, however, but as a research ideal environment, one whose climate we strove to recreate within the confines of Labyrinthos. It's since provided a rich foundation for countless experiments in cultivation. Do I have aught to, do I have aught to be taken down below? More than I can carry, and then some. Most of our stock is sent off via cargo lift, but some of it has been earmarked for aerial transport, hence the stack of crates atop that hill over there. God's hauling the lot up that slope was a job and a half. Something about this stupid tomato bothers me, and I don't remember why. Oh wait, I remember why now. I had to deal with a tomato like it in, I think Final Fantasy 12? Labels on these crates tell the story of the contents. Bundles of common seeds and saplings, accompanied by sheaves of reports.
Hard to look away, isn't it? But they're more than pretty flowers. Heart blooms are attuned to ambient emotion. You don't seem convinced, but believe me, it's true. This ashen grey, for instance, it mirrors the anxiety and urgency of those working nearby as they rush to fulfill sudden orders. Intense feelings like those spur the petals to change color. Bright glowing hues in the presence of joy, dark subdued shades for frustration or despair. Yet even with the collected wisdom of Charlian at our disposal, we've yet to identify the underlying principle of this empathic effect. And there are other mysteries besides. Although the flower is extraordinarily long-lived, its low reproductive rate has made it difficult to find younger populations growing in the wild. With too few sightings to map its distribution, and no closely related species to track, we've been unable to pinpoint its land of origin. To further complicate matters, every culture, even dimly aware of its existence has given it a different name and mythos. Our attempts to study it via the historical record have been an exercise in frustration. As an avid botanist myself, I should one day like to unravel the Heartbloom's secrets. But I'm afraid other duties must take precedence. I will leave you to your thoughts.
Have you learned aught of interest? A flower that reacts to one's feelings? Strange. I must say, I have never heard of such a thing.
This is all very fascinating. But as it stands, we've failed to gain any significant insight into the Forum's undertaking.
Indeed. While there is certainly enough activity to support Erenville's supposition that a priority has been placed on improving food production, unfortunately for our investigation, these workers were never informed as to how their duties serve the master plan.
If only we could interrogate the Forum members directly. Isn't that the entrance to the Archaeum? Look, there. I think that's Erenville.
A little difficult to tell from here, but I think you're right. He did say he was coming down to make his report.
Erenville receives his orders from the Forum. Would it not follow, then, that the superior to whom he reports is a Forum member, or at least a close associate?
You mean to eavesdrop on their conversation? What of the risks?
Ours alone to bear. We won't interfere with Erenville's work, nor will he be implicated as an accomplice. If you're not comfortable taking part, I can do this alone.
Nay. I said myself that I wished to know Father's intentions. And no answers will be forthcoming should we simply ask nicely.
We can apologize later, should it come to it. Right now, we need every crumb of information we can get our hands on. Consequences be damned.
It might be best if you came along as well. In fact, we should all... Cryle?
Oh, yes. That certainly sounds like a plan.
I'm glad you agree.
Quickly! Erenville is on the move. We need to get closer before we lose him.
Almost. I can almost reach you.
Is Krell feeling unwell? I've never seen her so distracted. Keep an eye on her, but keep moving too. We cannot let our quarry slip away. Ernville was headed westwards along the path outside the Archeum. Come, we can still catch him. Hold a moment, I have an idea. If memory serves, that colossal wall-like structure is Logisticon Beta, one of Labyrinthos' climate control centers. Should it have its own... It should have its own lifts, with which one could access the upper or lower tiers. If I were an agent of the Forum, it would make for a convenient meeting place. But even if we happen to find Aaronville in the company of said agent, we cannot expect them to reveal issues of importance as we nonchalantly stroll past. Nay, we shall have to remain undetected. If only Graha and his vanish spell were here. Oh. But there are other ways to turn invisible. Hippity hop, my little toads. Oh god, I remember this. Goodness. Unaccustomed transfiguration? Worry not, it will wear off with the passage of time. I suggest you and your green companions hop along and catch up with Aaronville. Should you feel the magic fading, return to me and I will refresh the enchantment. What am I to do in the meantime? Wait here with me. In your current state of mind, you'd be as like to leap into the jaws of a predator as you would learn anything of note. Which reminds me, where are the creatures hereabouts? In that form, you are essentially defenseless. Wait. Ribbit.
I trust you will find your compensation to be more than satisfactory. We wish to make clear that we are pleased with the efficiency and thoroughness of your work. So much so that we have come bearing new tasks in need of your competent hand.
Another lengthy list. If I may speak frankly, the Gleaners have been pushed to the point of collapse by your unending demands. We are not familiars to be exploited. We are Charlian scholars, and we deserve an explanation for this unseemly treatment. What warrants such urgency?
In an age long past, Charlian was charged with a momentous duty. And now that word of the final days hangs heavy in the air, the time has come for us to fulfill that charge. I can say no more, but I promise you this. All will be revealed in due course. And when it has, you will understand that your toil was in service to the greatest good.
Then I will do your bidding. For now. But unless you wish the Gleaners to rise up in protest, I advise you to offer tangible improvements for our working conditions. Your promised revelation does nothing to address present circumstances.
A fair point. Your concerns will be conveyed to the Forum.
I hope that was informative. You may consider my debt to you repaid in full.
How does he know?
While I do have my reservations about the Forum, I want to believe that they have our best interests at heart. Which is why I'm reassured that you're busy sniffing out the truth of things. We can ill afford to place all our eggs in one basket, this master plan of theirs, without first understanding the risks involved.
Wait! How did you know it was us?
If you mean to impersonate a toad, try studying the real thing. And don't try to fool an expert.
I suppose we should have known a gleaner who specialized in animal procurement would not be so easily deceived, yet he seemed inclined to put his trust in us all the same. More importantly, perhaps we've discovered a new piece of this puzzle. This momentous duty the Forum agent mentioned? Charlene has been called to action, and the Telefori's declaration was the catalyst. Whatever charge it is they hope to fulfill, they deem it of sufficient import to disrupt all of Labyrinthos, not to mention ignore Eorzea's request for aid. What duty could warrant a direct involvement of the Forum and the commitment of all of its resources? Judging by what we just heard, none of the Gleaners were offered any kind of explanation. At this point, it seems abundantly clear that we'll learn nothing new by pressing them further. We should head back to Stola and Kryle for the moment and see what they think of this. Or are they just just gonna be... Oh, they're gonna make us walk back. Okay. I'm gonna fight a yak. XP. It's weird how he puts him back on his back. Oh, wait a minute. Well, we are headed southeast. Just cut through here, find a giant toad, and then go from there. I just realized I want to hear what the music this creature has. Like, I'm very interested because each mount has its own set of music, and I've just turned that off, so I probably should turn it on just so I can hear what he has. Welcome back. I trust you found Ernville then? Interesting. I had a feeling you would learn something important, even if that something was simply a confirmation that no one knows much of anything. We should share this with Crow and discuss how we'd like to proceed. Assuming we find her back at the farm. She was still behaving oddly, so I bade her return there and rest. Perhaps not the best decision in hindsight. Would you mind checking near those flowers she was so entranced by? The rest of us can survey the more distant areas, just in case she decided to wander. Where was that again? Oh yeah, it was up the hill. I almost want to say it was a hill up there. I think this is the path I gotta take to get to it. tomato of death. Evil onion of death.
For you. The spell will keep it from wilting. She said you would need it for the journey ahead. Will you speak with her now? I cannot hope to match Minfilia's clarity, of course, but...
Thank you. Do not worry. She has lent me her body for only a moment. Just as I could not save the first from the flood of light, it has become arduous for me to interact with the physical world without assistance. Though I might converse with you for a time, the incorporeal form I assumed on the ship would be incapable of casting even the simplest enchantment. It is in the depths of the ethereal sea, the place to which all life returns, where my influence is greatest. After Minfilia's sacrifice on the first, it was to the sea, here in the source, where I ferried her soul. I wished that gentle spirit to find rest in the world she loved so well. Her, and another who may yet have a part to play, though that will depend on you. Take the flower. Walk free, for you are free to go where you wish, to believe what you will. That bloom will be your guide, test and proof of your conviction. In darkness, seek joy. Surrender not to sadness, and see beyond despair. Walk free, and bear the light for others to follow. Together, raise it aloft and let it shine, till the end, blinding and radiant.
That was all too brief. Already she seems so far away. My apologies if I startled you. Ever since we began our descent into Labyrinthos, I had sensed another's will, straining to reach out. Even with my particular talents, though, I was unable to make a connection at first, so weak and tenuous it was. Once I took hold of that wispy thread. Imagine my surprise to discover it was Heidelin herself. Needless to say, It seemed wise to learn what we could before letting go. Her answers were more cryptic than I would have liked, but at least she left us with a guide of sorts, that unusual flower. Yes, we are definitely making progress.
You can't be serious! We've done nothing wrong!
Master Fortuno, what business has the Forum with us?
Obstruction and suppression, apparently.
Mistress Baldessian, our records show you facilitated the Scions' entrance into Sharlayan by claiming them as assistants for your organization. We are aware of your investigations. After alerting the major institutions to the presence of potential troublemakers, we received word from an Archean custodian. A group operating under the auspices of the students, skulking about Labyrinthos and engaging in clandestine behavior.
Yeah, it was the guy.
Clandestine? We may not have entered Sharlayan as Scions, but we did naught to conceal our identities. Our only purpose in this city is to seek the truth. I can think of no reason why our actions should warrant the Forum's intervention.
'Tis not our way to discourage the pursuit of knowledge, but the timing of such pursuits must be considered, not to mention their potential impact. With the world in chaos, we, the true caretakers of wisdom, have committed ourselves to an undertaking that demands the utmost discretion. And we will not risk its success by turning a blind eye to disruptive foreign elements in our midst.
What, then, is to be our fate? Will you put us on a ship back to Eorzea?
The Forum will convene to examine your case. The results of said inquiry will determine your future in this city. As for your absent companion, he has already been detained.
Graha! But why? Is reading a crime now, too?
Reading is encouraged, celebrated even. Not, however, of the volumes shelved in the restricted section of the library.
Refusing to comply will only make matters worse. Let us instead treat this as an opportunity to open a dialogue with the Forum.
Silence is often one's best defense. I would advise against prolonging the proceedings with frivolous discourse. But enough. This is not the place for debate. The rostra await.
Forgive me. I was careless.
We would have been detained regardless. This way, at least, we managed to stay together. I trust your time within the Forbidden Archives was well spent.
The Forum will come to order! This inquiry is now in session. As Speaker-elect, I will be presiding over the day's proceedings. Master Fortuner, would you be so kind as to restate the matter which compelled you to summon your colleagues with such urgency?
As you are all aware, we recently denied Eorzea's request for Sharlayan assistance. Since then, certain individuals dissatisfied with our decision have taken it upon themselves to interfere with our work. They entered our nation masquerading as associates of the students of Baldessian. But these malcontents are better known as the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. These militants wield influence with both the Eorzean and Eastern alliances, and are inextricably involved with the crises presently afflicting the world at large. Loose in our city, these warmongers sought to meddle with and expose matters of state secret.
What crisis?
What are they, if not a dire threat to be expelled?
You have tarnished the good name of the students. Galuf would be ashamed.
Galuf Baldessian was never one to forsake his fellow man. Even if this nation closed every door and retreated from the world, he would have found a way to help the Scions, help every soul of this star fight back against the coming doom.
A terrible enemy stands poised to lay waste to all we hold dear. In the face of such madness, Eorzea reached out to Sharlayan, a respected ally, in the hopes of forming a united front. Was your curt dismissal truly the best you could offer? Or are you so preoccupied with your momentous duty of an age long past that even the end of the world is unworthy of your attention?
Whence came this revelation?
From the mouth of a Forum member within fortuitous earshot.
Then it seems your findings support my own. The reason I visited the restricted shelves was to study records of the Forum's policy-making process, to better understand the historical trends underlying their most major decisions. At first glance, the positions of neutrality in war and the accumulation of knowledge above all else appear constant and consistent, the unchanging pillars of Sharlayan society. And once upon a time, I might have left it at that. These days, however, I am more attuned to the subtleties of governance, and so I noticed something odd. From a particular point in time, the purpose of these policies shifted. No longer was knowledge preserved for the benefit of society. Rather, society was to be gradually reshaped to ensure the preservation of knowledge. The most conspicuous and telling change was the one which befell Labyrinthos. Once little more than an oversized storehouse, an enormous allocation of funds saw it transformed into an advanced research and archival facility. I also discovered a fascinating account on the finances of our Dravanian colony. The settlement attracted students from far and wide, and the connections and tuition fees thus acquired were funneled into further improvements for the archives. Now, there is no question that our nation's progress is tied to the acquisition of wisdom. Nevertheless, the vast resources diverted for this purpose borders on the obscene. But returning to the matter of when, our change in course appears to have been made some 270 years ago.
The very same period when Sharlayan scholars in the hinterlands began a formal study of the ethereal sea. You found something, did you not? And whatever it was, gave rise to your oh-so-important duty.
Mind your tongue, Archon. If you had seen...
Yes, we are bound by a duty we cannot ignore. Knowing this, what would you have us do? Abandon our vital work and join you on the field of battle? We will never choose the way of the sword. We will fulfill our mission not through strife and bloodshed, but survival. Come what may, we shall live on. We must.
Do as you must, then. But we Scions will fight until the heavens fall, until our last breath.
Such misguided zeal.
Father, Master Fortuno. I fail to understand the stance you have elected to take. But by the same token, I have yet to find a compelling argument to counter the challenge you put to us in Gridania. Still, in the midst of my uncertainty, I must trust in myself to do what is right, as others have chosen to trust in me. So I will continue, as I always have, weighing the consequences of my every action, and allowing my hope for the future to inform my decisions.
That's quite enough. Have you all forgotten the reason for this assembly?
Skolok Monteshane. He's the head of the Studium and an old friend of my grandfather's.
Honestly, every discussion devolves into some interminable debate. Terrible habit. Let's return to the topic at hand, By their own admission, these Scions have resolved to fight alongside the Eorzean nations against the doom which swift approaches. But there exists no evidence of an attempt to incite our citizens to do the same. Furthermore, while our decision may well have been the correct one, we cannot simply bull our way through these disagreements without inviting doubts or objections. Put yourselves in their place. Who among you would leave a tome unopened if an elder forbid you read it with no reason given? No. If we're to quell further discontent, then we must conclude this matter with a fair and even hand.
Order! We will have order! Master Montaigne raises some valid points. Keeping such concerns in mind, I propose we enforce the following measures. Until further notice, the students of Baldessian are to cease any and all activities within the domain of Sharlayan. You will also refrain from any further investigation into the Forum's decisions and duties. Failure to comply with these restrictions will result in the immediate expulsion of your Scion associates. Let us put this judgment to a vote. All in favor, raise your hand. I count 51 for and 48 against. The proposal is passed. Students, Scions, you have heard the Forum's judgment. Pray abide by it, or face the consequences.
This almost harkens back to Heavensward.
Honored members, I thank you for your time. This inquiry is concluded.
Well, at least we've been allowed to remain in the city, and our endless investigations have not been in vain. We now know that this mysterious duty of theirs began with whatever the Forum discovered in the ethereal sea. With our freedoms so sorely curtailed, however, we will struggle to learn aught more of substance here in Sharlayan. Alright, last mission. Which is not gonna be... Oh my god, it puts me so close. This is not gonna be enough for me to hit 82. Wait, let me calculate this real quick. I would at least need like 735,000 XP to get what I need to get. The overall picture has grown clearer, yes, but that's in spite of the Forum being so madly vague about their duty of theirs. Why are they so reluctant to explain their actions in plain words? Survival, come what may. Is father's work so vital that it takes precedence over his own family? Alphino, Alize, it is you. When I heard you'd been dragged before the Forum, I came as swiftly as I could. I am so glad they allowed you to stay. I was like, mother. Emilience Levier at your service. I'm just going to call her Amelia. So you fine people must be the scions of the Seventh Dawn. How lovely it is to finally meet you. Mother, please, we do not wish to make things more difficult for you. If word were just father that you were here... Oh, bother that. Am I to be chastised for speaking to my own children? I am well aware that you and Master Fortuno are not on the best of terms at the moment, but I've been absolutely desperate to see my darlings again. You will come by the house, won't you? I have gifts waiting. Ah, this is where they get their new looks from. The timing couldn't be better. As matters stand, we shan't be going anywhere until we discuss matters with Thancred's group and reconsider our options. Go, visit your home. We'll be back at the annex when you are ready to rejoin us. I'm not sure Sapphire, what do you think? Sapphire? The Sapphire Destine? What a splendid day this has turned out to be. Champion of Eorzea, I insist that you join us. Okay. Ah, but we must be quick about it. Not for my own benefit, but should my husband return and find you enjoying our hospitality, the servants will be made to suffer the consequences. Sapphire, if you would be so kind as to escort my children to the estate. And then she was gone. And with her, any opportunity to protest. Wow. Yeah, I'm with Krell on that one. Indeed, the matter is settled. Enjoy yourselves, you three. Oh, I think he's wearing the... My apologies. My mother is not one to take no for an answer. Still, I'm glad, relieved even, to see her in such high spirits. What say you, Sapphire? Though it seems we shall have little enough time to enjoy it, will you accompany us to visit our home? Yeah, they're wearing... Oh, that outfit. The outfit does look good in blue. I had it in white. Fine, if we're going, then let's get it over with. Be sure to stay in the entrance hall. No peeking into our private chambers. Thank you very much. Why ever not? Your room's always perfectly neat and tidy. Everyone has things they'd rather keep to themselves, don't they? Cherished mementos you couldn't bring yourself to throw away, childhood toys. I mean, never mind. The Levier estate's this way, straight down the stairs. Come on. I just realized I probably could have teleported there, but whatever. Yeah, I want to something a little more colorful. When Alize and I were little, this bridge was as far as we were permitted to wander alone. I say alone, but my mother or a servant was always somewhere nearby keeping a watchful eye. look at us now, traveling different continents, different worlds even. As children, After and I would often wait here for our father to come home from work. It must have been a day when his meetings ran long, because I remember growing restless and leaning out of the railing to watch the water rush by. Father, of course, arrived at the exact moment, came pounding down the path in a panic, crying out my name. Huh. And here you are at last. Please do come in.
Welcome home, my lady.
What? What are you gawping at? Oh, gods, please don't. It makes me feel like a spoiled princess.
I mean, you kind of are.
Lord Fortuneau is not to hear of this visit. And I should also like the children to have their gifts, ere my husband makes his return.
As you wish, my lady.
Master Alphino, Mistress Alice, if you'd accompany me upstairs.
We shan't be long.
The twins have been sending letters home from time to time, recounting their latest adventures. I am sure they withhold certain details, of course, if only to keep me from worrying. Yet a mother worries all the same. In the early days especially, I tried to support them as best I could, sending the Scion's coin and other such donations. Fortunately, they have found the strength to overcome adversity time and time again. Their words grow more confident with every letter, their depictions more vivid. The triumphs and defeats, the joys and sorrows. It is clear that they have come to find value in every experience. But of those they treasure most, it would seem that meeting you might be the most impactful. Why, since that fateful day, I do believe there has not been a single missive in which you were not mentioned by name. It is plain they care for you, and I am glad they have such a steadfast companion watching over them. Under normal circumstances, I would offer you tea, but alas, these are anything but. In any event, why don't you keep me company whilst we await my children's return? Perhaps you might regale me with a tale or two of your exploits.
When you mentioned mentioned gifts, I wasn't sure what to expect. Mother,
Oh, look how well it fits you. And the style is to your liking?
And we get the new look.
It's perfect. Exactly what I would have chosen. But please, tell me you had something different made for Alphino.
Naturally. You are hardly little children anymore. And while I shall miss dressing you in those precious matching outfits, I must respect the individuals you have grown to become. See for yourself.
Thank you for the splendid clothes, Mother. Stylish, comfortable, and eminently practical.
I am so glad you like them. They are, however, missing one final touch.
If you'd allow me, Master Alphino.
And thus we have the new class?
Wait. Are these...
A sage's tools of the trade. They belonged to your father. Though he may as well be chained to his desk these days, as a student he was often called upon to venture into the field. He wielded those armaments, both to heal and to harm in no few battles. None so fierce as those you two have braved, perhaps, but battles nonetheless. Thus did I pull them out of storage, to show you that he was not always the man who stands in vehement opposition to you now. And also because it would be a terrible waste of ridiculously expensive House Leveilleur commissioned artistry. I am told these devices are quite difficult to master, but someone of your extensive experience should soon have them darting about with grace and aplomb. May the wisdom in that crystal serve you well. And please, try to find common ground with your father, that you might come and go without need for this awful subterfuge.
We will, Mother. I promise.
My final gifts to you, before you run off, are an observation and a suggestion. Firstly, Fortuno has ever been a serious man, but it was only after you were born that he truly lost himself in his work. I may not know the Forum's inner workings, but I know your father's. The timing of that change in him holds some significance. Secondly, do not seek to best your father with words. Far better that you simply show him. Let him discover the merit of your actions, after they cannot be undone.
Oh, Mother.
We shall take your wisdom to heart. Thank you again for these gifts, and farewell for now.
Safe travels, my children. Eat well, stay warm, and keep your friends close.
Thank you for indulging Mother's request. I can see it meant a lot to her, and I shall refrain from inquiring as to the content of your private conversation. Our visit was all too brief. For now, however, it will have to suffice. As will these tokens of home that we carry with us, these gifts to help us remember who we are and whence we came. But enough sentimentality, let us return to the annex and rejoin our companions. Enjoy your time at the Lovieres, I hope. I would ask how the twins fared, but their new outfits tell the tale. I only hope we can help them reconcile with their father, that they might return home one day with their heads held high. In the meantime, we edge ever closer to the secret of the Forum strives to hide. And the flower bequeathed to you by Heidelin is sure to guide us going forward. I'm confident that once you've scouted the situation in Thavnir, we'll be well equipped to plot our next move. Alright. So this is the map of Eorzea. So this is Limsa. This is everywhere, including Dravanya. Dravanya, I think, is up here because Ishgard's here. So you have the 3 city-states that we've been traveling around. And then we hit here. And then this is Doma. This is that one little port area we were at, Garlemald. Which means the new world, I think, is over here? Because I don't think it's here. And we have not been here. This is going to be a... Oh, it's Azazla. This is... Well, I'm saying that's Azazla. I don't actually know. Okay, cool. Well, in the meantime... this video will probably be going up mid-August, early September. I haven't looked at what I've got going on so far, so I am not sure. But it's going to be around then. So in the meantime, be good to yourself, be good to others, and of course, stay true to you. Bye!